We are live. Welcome back to Earle Sports Bets. And today we've got day team seven of the 2023 MLB season previews. We are in the AL Central, and we are talking about the team from the Twin Cities, the Minnesota Twins today. So this is a team that I've kind of got some interesting thoughts on, and I kind of alluded to it yesterday a little bit. I kind of like this team. We'll get into that in a little bit. But you ready to get into the Minnesota Twins here?
No.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, I'm not ready.
We're going to do it anyway. Additions / re-signings and subtractions. Donovan Solano, Pablo Lopez, Chris Paddock, which currently is hurt, by the way. Michael Taylor, Joey Gallo, Christian Vasquez, Kyle Farmer, and of course they re-signed Carlos Correa because the third time is the charm with him. Their only loss that I really saw was Brad Peacock. I mean, I didn't see anybody else. As of note, I mean, I saw they lost some minor leaguers, but that was just about it. Like there wasn't any big name players that I saw that were missing. So this is what I kind of came up with. I like the additions. I forgot one of the biggest names. Luis Arraez is one of their subtractions.
Yes.
That's because I forgot to mark it because it was part of a trade. Luis Arraez is one of their subtractions as well, which will hurt. But I mean, this team is going to be fine with hitting. They needed to go out and get a starting pitcher, and that's who they got with the Pablo Lopez trade. And I like this addition for Pablo. I like the addition for both teams in that trade because the Marlins needed a hitter and the Twins needed a starting pitcher. And Pablo Lopez was a little bit of spoils of riches that the Miami Marlins did have with starting pitching. And they did trade away the 2022 AL batting champ Luis Arraez for it. But hey, I like the move for both teams. Joey Gallo, give him a nice fresh start somewhere. He hit a little bit better with the Dodgers last year. Wasn't great still. He's not going to hit above 220. I mean, that's just the type of hitter he is. Christian Vasquez is kind of an underrated pickup. I think he's going to be pretty good. Kyle Farmer is a nice little catcher there that you'll be able to have. And then Carlos Correa, of course, he's the big name guy that they re-signed after his physical got rejected by both the Giants and the Mets. He went back to the Twins because that's where he always wanted to be as he winks towards the media. So, yeah, I really like the additions that this team has made. So I like them. What do you think, Tim?
Yeah, the loss of Trevor Arraez.
Luis Arraez.
Luis Arraez is definitely going to be it's going to hurt the lineup a little bit because you got that guy who was consistent in the lineup just getting on base. But you go and you look at it. Joey Gallo getting a fresh start, and they banned the shift and still found a way to shift against them.
I love it. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, hey, there you go. There's strategy right there. Strategies in baseball, and we get everything the way we want it. Kyle Farmer, I kind of like that pickup too. That's kind of an underrated pickup for him. But when I look at everything, Pablo Lopez was probably the best pickup this team had this offseason. I love that addition. I think it's fantastic for the thing. I know they traded Arraez for it. I still think it's okay. Pablo Lopez was absolutely solid with the Marlins last year. What the Twins needed was some pitching. They got it. They got a couple extra bats. Carlos Correa. Good job getting him back.
Good luck with him.
Good luck with him. But we'll see how that one goes. Overall, I kind of like the additions.
I think they definitely improved from last year.
I would agree.
All right. On to the top prospects. Their farm system is ranked number 18. Obviously, not as many prospects that we have to go over compared to the last two teams we did with the Orioles and the Guardians. Brooks Lee is a shortstop prospect. He won't be due up until next year. Royce Lewis is due up this year. He's injured right now. And Emmanuel Rodriguez is an outfielder who's not due for a couple of years because I believe he's in low rookie ball right now. So don't have too much to go over here. I don't think we need to spend too much time on this. There's not much to go over here.
Nope, not at all. We're good to go.
All right, fair enough. We'll get into the thick of things here. This is going to be the projected lineup, rotation, and bullpen for the 2023 Minnesota Twins, according to Fangraphs, of course. Byron Buxton is going to be on the top of the lineup. If he can stay healthy, he's an MVP candidate. He is that freaking good. Carlos Correa on the top of that lineup as well. Polanco, Kepler, Miranda. This team can freaking mash. This could be a really good overs team. And then Kirillov is not bad. Vasquez is not a bad pickup. And Nick Gordon hitting ninth. He can get on base. Overall, this is a great lineup. I really like this Minnesota Twins lineup an awful lot. Looking at the rotation, it's sneaky. It's a sneaky rotation. Pablo Lopez, I really like. I really liked him in Minnesota. Now I can't wait to see what he does with offense behind him. Sonny Gray, he could be solid at times. Joe Ryan is an up-and-coming pitcher. I believe last year was his rookie year. He looked good. I can't wait to see him take another step up. Tyler Mahle, he can be good as well if he's not pitching in Cincinnati. And Kenta Maeda, a couple of years ago during the bubble season, he was one of the top guys for the Cy Young Award. So this is a Minnesota Twins team. When their pitchers are on, this is a really solid rotation. And then the bullpen, I think that's going to be the biggest question mark for them there. I love the second to last pitcher there, but Santana, Moran, Alcara, Pagan, Philberg, Jax, Duran, and Lopez. I mean, Jorge Lopez, they got him from the Baltimore Orioles last year. I don't mind him. I really like Duran. He was one of those where he has, I believe, 102 in splits or drops, and like he's got filthy stuff. In the back end of that bullpen. I think in the back of the bullpen with Lopez and with Duran, this team could be filthy. So that's kind of something I'm looking at as well. I really like this team. I really like the lineup. This lineup's going to be able to score runs. This rotation, when they're on, could be very, very good. And this bullpen has a decent chance of being a pretty solid bullpen. So overall, I really like this Minnesota Twins team, and we'll get into that when we talk about futures for them as well.
Yes, this team's got a good lineup. The one big concern for me is injuries, is the health of the players. Buxton hasn't had a healthy season in his entire career. Carlos Correa's got weird stuff with his physical. Those two guys go out, this rotation, this lineup's nothing. I strongly feel that this team can completely fall apart. And we saw that last year. Buxton went down. Correa was not 100%, and this team fell because they were first place for a while, and they absolutely now Polanco, Kepler, Miranda, solid pieces, but you need those top two guys to stay healthy, and that's my big question. Rotation got better. Pablo Lopez, once again, love that pickup. Sonny Gray, I'm all right with him. Joe Ryan, we saw he was solid last year. He was a bet-on pitcher last year. Tyler Mahle, I loved him in Cincinnati. I think he's going to be solid here too. Kenta Maeda is a big question mark for me. Bullpen, I think the bullpen's all right. I like Duran and I like Lopez, and I think Jax could be interesting this year as well. Other than that, I'm not really too high on this bullpen. I think this bullpen is not particularly good, minus those back three guys. When it comes to it, I am not super high on this Minnesota Twins team. I do have a team that I do like, and we'll talk about them tomorrow. But this Minnesota team, I think, is a third place team, and I'm not too high on them.
Fair enough. Which we will get into the futures here with this team. Their win total is 84.5. To make the playoffs is plus 130. To miss the playoffs is minus 160. To win the American League Central, they're $1.80. To win the American League Pennant, they're 14-1. And to win the World Series, they're 33-1. I'm looking at the win total here, and I'm looking at actually a divisional prop as well for them as well. I like them to win the American League Central here at plus 180. I think that this is a sneaky team that's improved. This is going to be a fun race between them and Cleveland. I think they're going to go back and forth. I like the over 84.5 wins as well. I think that's a very disrespectful number for this team because you're saying they're going to be an 84-win baseball team. They're going to be 6 games over. I see them as a much better team than that. And I mean, I'm getting up the standings from last year to see how they finished last year. They finished 78-84, and they dealt with injuries all year long. Maeda was not Maeda, or he was injured most of the year. Correa was injured a lot. Buxton was out a lot. I think that this team, if they're healthy, they clear this 84.5 pretty easily. I think that if this team is a healthy baseball team, they win 90 games. I think they're that type of team. I think they're a top, fully healthy. This is a top 10 team in baseball. Fully healthy. And I'm going to bet on them being healthy this year. I'm going to take over 84.5 wins. I believe that's minus 125. And I'm taking them to win the American League Central here at plus 180. I like this Minnesota Twins team this year.
I'm not going to bet on them being healthy. That they haven't proven that to me. I can't do that. Buxton's had injury problems. So has Correa. And if they go down, that's the entire offense. So I personally can't bet on this team to stay healthy. But that's just me. I think the 84.5 is right on. If anything, maybe it's a little bit too high for me. I think this is a equal 500 ball club. But obviously, I think they're a third place team. So that's why I think they're at equal 500. And obviously, the last two teams we'll end up talking about are going to be awful this year. So maybe that's how they get the win total, because they get to play them 13 times each. But I am not super high on this Minnesota team. Will I be betting them this year? Yeah, sure. I'll bet them a bunch. Pablo Lopez, whenever he's there. And as long as those guys on the top of the lineup are healthy, the Twins will be an interesting team. Do I see them being healthy in the entire year? No. So I can't take any divisional props. I can't take any win totals overs. I wanted to bet them no to make the playoffs, but I'm not laying 160. I think this Minnesota team is going to be Minnesota. Mid. I think they're an average team. So for me, this one's a no futures for me for the Minnesota Twins. Sorry for not having anything.
That's fair. And if I'm looking at any player futures here in this one, I think the only player I'm looking at is Byron Buxton.
But he's got to stay healthy.
Buxton to win the MVP is 40-1. If he can stay healthy, he's definitely a top 5 candidate, I think.
Correct.
So that's kind of where I'm looking at with them here. But that's basically it for the this show. Anything we want to touch on before we head on out? A little bit of a quicker show for this one. We're not going to go deep in depth into every single team.
We'll have longer shows when there's guests on, because they'll talk a little bit more with them, and that's how it is. If it's just me and Nick, it's going to be a shorter show. So if you guys are interested, if you guys are watching this on replay, if you guys want to join it for your favorite teams, DM us on Twitter, DM us in the comment section. Let us know, and we'll let you guys on for whatever shows. So, but yeah, quick show today.
Yeah, so that's going to just about wrap it up for this one. We want to thank you guys, as always, for watching. Check it out tomorrow around the same time. We're going to go over the Chicago White Sox. So we'll be talking about that team there. But until then, let me find the button, and we will head on out. There we go. Found the button. All right. See you guys.